I don't know why we need AI for recording, but anyway. Right, we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Harvard community meeting today. Today is November 27th, and that's official CNCF community meeting. So please behave, and that boils down to just be nice to each other and respect everybody's opinion, and yeah, listen to each other and give a floor to everyone. I'm gonna paste one more time the community meeting link to the notes. So please add yourself, add your topics, and yeah, we can do the discussion. So I'm not sure if it makes sense to share, but because we have few topics now, let me share that. Yeah, I hope everybody can see that. Daniel, you've added some stuff about the patch release.
I'll give a few updates regarding the releases. First, we
go ahead.
have tagged GA for 2.11.2 patch. It's just a regular patch release, including several CVE fixes. And currently, we have kicked off 2.12.1 patch release. Could you open that link, please? I forgot the exact date a bit. Yeah, so 2.12.1 will we expect it to GA before the end of December this year, and the RC1 should be before Christmas. And you can see the planned work items. I think there's a bug fix, and we'll bump up Trivi to include a valuable improvement regarding setting the URL of the CVE database, and Trivi also made some enhancement to fallback to another URL to mitigate the rate limit issue by GitHub. I think that's all planned, but if you think there are other bugs that we should consider fixing 2.12.1, just let us know. In addition to that, 2.13.0 feature freeze date is also December 20th. So Vadim, if you have any issue you want to work on or deliver in 2.13.0, please add a candidate label to it. And we can triage them via Slack or in the committee meeting, whatever we want. But the point is, after feature freeze, we'll try not to add new issues in the planned work items, and all the candidate issues will either be put into the planned work item list or kicked out of the release. So it is somehow we try to better manage what we will focus on in this release.
Yep. Should we take a look at what is already labeled with 2.13? The candidates?
Yeah, it's a relatively long list. I don't think we are gonna go through them in this meeting.
Okay, so there is no kind of a major theme of functionality.
Yeah, there is an anchor feature. We will work on the enhancement to access log. That will we wanna extend the scope of access log to more general audit log to be able to record more events, including user login or user added to project members. But I think more important thing is that we need to design an extensible framework to make sure it's easier to add other events. That's the first thing. Second thing is that we plan to fork. I think we already forked the distribution to Go Harbor organization. And to add more feature to the distribution, I think 2.8, and tag our own release and ship it with Harbor. I think we discussed, that's a solution for short term. But in long term, after distribution 3 has GA'd and proved to be stable, I think we'll switch distribution V3 in future.
Yep. Regarding the audit logs, like extending the audit logs, I mean, we've been discussing this also in regards with our other PR that we have, right? The audit log, the extending audit log for logging IP addresses and requests. We had also discussion like how we can extend the audit logs with more powerful and not everything in the database. And we made already some, say, we've been thinking about this approach a bit already and how this can work. And so the idea we had was to have a twofold solution, kind of a interface, so that you can store it on a database on one side. So if you have a small installation, you can use still the database for that. If you have another one, you can switch. To, for example, to another solution. And I've looked into multiple ways, and I think that the best one that I could find was there is of course the dedicated ones, like dedicated solution for audit logging, but they mostly have also a database backend. The one that I found most interesting and promising was to use OpenTelemetry for that.
Yeah, that may work, but I think by default we will stick with database because it's more independent or self-contained. If users do not plan to set up like OpenTelemetry, they can they still have something like battery included, but I think we'll make sure the interface is extensible and configurable. And Stone is working on the design, and we'll take that into consideration. There's already a draft we're gonna review internally, and once we think it's relatively ready, we'll put it on a PR, and hopefully in the next community meeting you'll see the PR, and you can add your comment and share your thoughts in that one, since you've been also thinking about this for a while.
But you want to keep using the database as the main storage backend for the audit logs, because last time we had the discussion, it was the conclusion that the database is not good enough for that. That's why I'm not sure which why it's again the database, because now we've been thinking about how we can get alternative to the database for a high load scenario, right? And I wonder why.
So I see what you mean. So you wanna make telemetry handler, let's say. Because the design is WIP, so we don't have a good term for that component. I mean, of course, something will collect the event and send to some backend. So that component by default database, but you think that's telemetry, OpenTelemetry is also a good choice. I don't disagree with that. I think when we are working on the design, we'll make sure to introduce this interface. And if you want to collaborate to implement the OpenTelemetry handler, after the design is approved, I think you can contribute the OpenTelemetry handler somehow in 2.13 if you want. But I think for now, but that's opinionated, the default handler will remain database. But of course, I'll have a discussion with Stone to make decision. Stone is owning this feature.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. And yeah, that's all my part.
I have one regarding the next releases. When do we plan to continue that effort to migrate from internal Broadcom infrastructure to the CNCF? I think we've postponed that for quite a few months already.
Yes.
Because that solely depends on your side.
Yeah, that's our radar, and Stephen you share your comments on that? I think we discussed it.
Yeah, Ollie, I think Vadim, we need some people to look at this one, and we can collaborate with to migrate the test into the public cloud.
What are the things that needs to be extended? Because it's not clear to me what is still missing, because it's not visible, right? So
The cases are visible. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, basically all the test cases are in the GitHub repo, and the only thing behind is we have like 8 to 10 VMs, and which we using Jenkins trigger the pipeline and to run those tests on the VMs. So if we want to move that, and we first need to have some resources, and we need to have someone to set up some Jenkins and for the public cloud VM to run tests.
Okay. What test are you running?
It's in the it's in the Harbor repo.
Yeah, but I mean the Harbor repo is quite big, right? So it's
yeah. Let me check. Because that's Yan know more detail. Let me check. Yan
I think
unfortunately
so generally they are tested.
Yeah, I just sent this to the Zoom chat. I think you can get someone to look at this. I believe Yan has told you several times already.
Yes.
I'm a little surprised you didn't know that what cases are there in the repo. But anyway, you can ask your engineer to take a look in this folder. But yeah, it's not very clear like what to do with all these files. I think we discussed internally, we'll rather readme.md and to make things a little bit clear. But in terms of details, like how would you set up VMs? I'm not sure, Steven, what's your recommendation? Like how do we?
Yeah, I think if Vadim and Ollie, if we can identify some engineers, and we can have some session to introduce how we set up this environment internally in Broadcom. And we probably can have some session to share with your engineers. And then we can also talk about this test if they need it. I think the test is very straightforward. Right? So whatever if you like, and we can do the transfer as well.
Yeah, but I think it's not only about tests. I think right now we cut the versions only within that same infrastructure, right? We built and cut the versions within Broadcom right now. Is that true?
So can you repeat I didn't get your question.
Oh, so you mean the released binary are
yes.
built in Broadcom infrastructure?
Of course.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
But I don't. Yeah, I think Steven, we discussed that we don't really have bandwidth to move that infra to public cloud. But if you can get some engineer to have that done and maintain that infra, so that the release can be on time and not delayed due to the flaky pipelines, I think we are happy to help you, but I don't think we have enough engineer resource to do that migration.
Yeah, I think we can spare some resources, me, Vadim, to migrate that. The problem that I can recall quite clearly is that at some point you have to stop that infrastructure at Broadcom side. That was communicated a few months ago, right? So
I wasn't in that discussion.
So until we can have this infrastructure out of Broadcom running stably, and we cannot stop running all this release in Broadcom. I think we can have somebody to work on that until that is stable, and then we can move to the new infrastructure. I don't think we can just remove it and live on something which is not there yet and unstable.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I got it, Stephen. So do you have to stop it at some point? Because I think that was like discussed, I think in the summer or even before the summer, that at some point you have to cut costs and stop that infrastructure. Is that still the case, or I'm wrong?
No, I think we have some resource now, right, Stephen? I think Jiaolin once mentioned that there's a risk that we don't have infra, but that's the situation is better now.
I have allocated resources currently run it internally, and because I cannot wait for the other resources ready.
Okay, so it's not like ultra urgent to migrate for the next release or something, because last time when we spoke about it, it was like, oh, we at some point we have to stop it, we will be forced to stop it, so we have to migrate, and we didn't do anything because there were lack of resources.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So the migration is no longer must have at the moment based on the situation now, but for transparency to community, I think it's good to have, and given it's good to have, I think if there are a volunteer who want to work on that, it's more than welcome. But before that transparent or public infra is stable, I think we will continue running that on Broadcom, and I think we have the resource in the near future. That's for sure.
So to summarize, it's not an urgent thing to do.
No,
it's urgent from community perspective, and it's a must to do it from community perspective and the project governance. So if we plan properly right now, I mean, like end of the year, maybe not the best time to plan that, but like if we start like January or something to do a few sessions, so you can show us what you have.
If you
sessions, and then you can share the code base with the Jenkins stuff, like the jobs and pipelines and everything. Then we can like take that and either replicate it. We will discuss that on the sessions. Either replicate that, or we can. I'm in favor to rework it with some GitHub actions, so we can. We don't rely on Jenkins solely. But that's all like in this discussion. So let's aim to start the discussion and planning early January, if everyone is okay with that. I just don't find it like super productive to push it for the end of the year. Vadim, as you're gonna be the other one engaged in that one, are you okay with this? All right.
Yeah, I mean, totally fine. So what we need to do is we need to understand what is currently running, right? Because if I look at the code, I'm pretty sure that a lot of those things are not used there anymore, right? So I need to know what is currently running so that we can replicate it maybe with GitHub Actions or other methods, because like there is some drone IO things like, drone CI, a Helm chart. It's like a few years old, so it's like really difficult to just jump in and recreate this thing if I don't know what is currently running, what is currently working and not working, and what is not needed anymore. Because I think there's quite a few things that are not really needed anymore.
Agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's.
So I'm adding. All right. I'm adding that. I'm gonna set up something for like mid.
So Arlene, the key things like we need to identify some owners, right? Like who is going to drive it.
Sure.
If you want to play
we'll do that.
January, right?
Yeah,
okay.
We'll do that on the kickoff session. On the first planning. I suppose me and Vadim will raise hands right away to volunteer that. I'll find someone else, for example, from Mirantis or someone else from SUSE side to help and to be able to support that effort, so we can have it like more distributed across the organizations. Yeah, I'm sure we'll succeed in this one. So yeah, right. Thanks a lot. I'm sorry for like bringing that in the middle of the conversation, but I was worried
worries.
that at some point someone will say, "Hey, we have to stop that," and all of a sudden we don't have a built environment, which is not good, right?
Mhm.
All right. Okay. Cool. So yeah, that was my topic. I'm sorry that I plugged it in the middle. Daniel, you have I'm sorry, updates. Prasant wants to discuss something. Do you want to take the floor?
Yeah.
Should I open the PR or are you gonna open it?
Yeah, I can show you the things I have worked and how
All right.
it
All
works.
right.
Yeah.
I'll stop sharing so you can share and show us.
Okay. Good then. Um, hello everyone. I am Prashant. I work as an intern in 8 Gears, and for the past weeks, I have been working on this revamping the copy pull command. So we have a lot of issues with users being like unable to work with the uh, pull command is not clear, and we have a lot of things. So uh, this is the demo instance we have. What I have done is we have the copy pull command here, but it's always grayed out, and the users find it like this is grayed out and we can't click this. We have a lot of queries from the user side why it's grayed out, and then we tell you need to click this to enable the copy pull command, then you need to click the copy here. So but it seems coming back and back. So also here we need to do the same, go here, and also we get to uh, copy the digest. So by default the copy pull command, you need to click here, then it will copy the digest thing. But users want also benefits for tags, so they need some kind of uh, easy way to do this because they are accustomed to different container registries. So what I've done is, this is my local instance, so you can check the same thing here. So let me get this. Yeah. So here, so I added a copy button here and also removed that copy pull command and substituted with the thing here, which is like you can copy this. It will copy like just like the Docker Hub and other container registries do, instead of pointing out directly to the digest. So if they want, they can also copy the digest here. So and also I have added the global message thing to notify the user, and then they can also do copy the tags here instead of just clicking and going there and lots of things. We just removed that and added this here. So each and every tags will have a copy button near the tag itself, so they don't need to like why this we don't get any more queries about why the copy pull command is hidden. And also I have added change the navbar to enclose this, added a preferences to have this pull command prefix, which is previously we have Docker and a Podman. We can even add a nerdctl container registry and Creo. So with this, we can have things such as copy this thing. So it will be much better user experience in this way if we go this right. So yeah.
So thank you. But I have two questions. First is preference is stored locally, right? I mean, in the browser.
Yeah, it's in the browser local storage thing.
Yeah. And the second question is that I see this copy command. Could you close this dialog? I see there's a copy command on the top of this data grid. So this one, if I don't choose any artifact and I click copy, what will be copied?
So it will copy the location, so the repository itself, and it doesn't clearly define what is the tag they use. So it is common in Docker Hub. So if we go to Docker Hub and
but I want to point out Docker Hub by default can point to the latest.
They can add, they can copy this and they can add the tag they want here. So it will be like this, and they can add the tag latest or any tags they want. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if they
I personally have some different opinion. I think if you offer copy, the command need to be run successfully. User should not need to add tag. If we cannot decide, I would personally, I would rather remove this one or add just like a text, like a tooltip to ask them to select an artifact
okay.
or copy the command in the data grid rather than giving him an option that they can copy a command, but we know that the command will not run. Makes sense?
Yeah, but by default, the users, what I had in my mind was like most of the users prefer the tags to be latest tags. So it's the most common use tag. So by default, the container runtime support, if I used instead of nerdctl, I use Docker. It will by default, even if I don't specify a tag, it will default use the tag latest. And most of the users are accustomed to this thing. So
Yeah, but
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but the latest tag always exists in Docker Hub, but that's not the case in Harbor. Yeah, that's a little, that's something maybe we can open for discussion later and make decision, but I'm not very convinced, to be honest, at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, I would like what is interesting here is that the user experience is similar to Docker Hub, right? Because sometimes, I mean, like we have a now with this change, the user doesn't have to do so many clicks, right? So before that, he would need to go click on the select the row,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
second click the drop down, and the third click the copy the command. So it's like 3 clicks,
Yeah.
and now it's
Yeah.
1.
Yeah.
I understand that, for example, if you, Prashant, if you go back to to your version, that if you copy and paste the command, the digest, right? This is also not what every user wants, right? So like this is one option, like with the digest. This is something if you want to deploy to production and you want to make sure that you have exactly this. This is like what people will use if they want to deploy something to production. And this is also something that you normally automate, right? So you don't need to copy and paste. So the other option would be to add also a copy command here next to the tag. So this will be exactly here. Yeah. Then the user can directly with one click copy the command for this particular version. Then we would have too many copy buttons, and I'm not sure if this is the right thing to do.
Yeah, and also another issue when you add a copy button for tags is that there can be multiple tags for one artifact.
Exactly.
And that UI will be too busy to look at, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's, and also what I also found very interesting that many users don't know at which registry it is running, right? So like the URL is not really clear where they need to pull the images from, right? So because if they're new to the registry, they don't know which URL. I don't know. It's for us, it's obvious that's the same URL you are using Harbor, the UI, but for a lot of users, it's not clear, right? And so it's also sometimes helpful to really see where you're pulling from, like the URL, the full qualified URL. Yeah, I mean, this is the some variations what we have. I mean, I would maybe do the pull command on the right side, the generic pull command, make it a bit wider so that you don't have a kind of a horizontal scroll. Apart from that, yeah, I find this an improvement over the current setup that we have.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good improvement. But yeah, only concern is that the command with omitting the tag will fail. So that's something maybe we can discuss offline.
So I mean, the option is here just remove it completely, or use the latest one, or use something like the latest pushed one. But this is then like too much magic.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, we could use the latest pushed one, but this is too much magic. I wouldn't. Yeah. So it depends on the community. What everyone else see. Should we keep this or should we remove this? What is the opinion of everyone else here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
my suggestion
think...
is if we cannot make sure this copy command is always right, and we should remove it.
Yeah, maybe add a text to tell user to copy the command in the data grid, because there are some user maybe who's relatively used to the previous user experience. So we add a text to tell them, hey, this has changed. And so they're somehow notified, they can figure out.
Okay, so removing the command here on the right then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also you get to like copy only the digest with this thing. So this copy does not copy with the tag, so it copies the digest. And I would suggest it better to not have it here, but have it in here. Like the copy command is near the digest. So if they have
I don't think we need the copy text in the data grid. But instead, like yeah, we can add some text to ask user to, hit the copy icon in the data grid. Would that work?
So you mean writing a text here to say copy command in the data grid?
Yeah, or something like that to let user know.
Okay, like a tooltip here to select this one.
Yeah. Not to select this one, but instead add a tooltip to ask user to click that icon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think if you click on the icon, the nice thing is now that once you click, there is a feedback, right? So if Prasant, can you click on the copy icon? So if you click on the copy, you have a kind of a feedback that tells you it's in your report, right? So
yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't.
Yeah, so you're trying to say we don't need to add any text.
Yeah, I mean, there is already a feedback, and the icon is the same from the previous versions. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I think that's probably should work too. And yeah, I think just remove it and not adding anything, it's also fine, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So if I want to have exactly the version 6.2.11, right, then I have a bit of a problem, right? So what I currently do in Harbor is following. I click on the copy command, like the one that we have with digest. I remove the digest, and then I write the correct version. So this is what I currently do if I need to pull something from Harbor. I just copy the whole command here that we have, and then I just remove the digest and replace it with the version that I want to have. Or because I'm not going into the container or inside the view, select a tag, and then create a copy command. I'm not doing that. I'm just kind of and for me, the right side would be really helpful because I can just click on it, write the correct version that I want to have, latest 2.6.11, and I'm done, right? So I have it. The naked one is for me the one without the tag is for me more valuable than the exact digest, for example. But yeah, and the thing is that we had before in the previous version of Harbor, right? I think maybe Prasant knows in which version it was.
Yeah.
So in the previous.
Yeah, good. Sorry.
Yeah, in previous version it was on the tag, right? And then we switch it to the digest.
Yeah, in the Harbor 2.0 and 2.12 versions, we had even we give the copy pull command a separate column. So it was in the previous version. So yeah, and then after 2.45 something, we moved to the copying digest instead of copying the tags itself. So yeah.
I think that's probably due to some bug, like we didn't realize that there can be many tags for the same artifact. Maybe, but I don't remember.
Yeah. So yeah. That's it.
Okay. Thank you, Prasant.
All right. Gusto. Do we have something else? Let's see.
I have some notes about the demo environment and the registry
Yes.
environment. So since we have now the new version, I hope we can deploy something, by end of this week. So I have a new demo environment with the new demo data and also a new environment with the registry, with the new version for the registry as well. So I didn't came to finalize this. But this will be in the end of this week. We have a new version on the demo.
Yeah. Thank you. I also added two topics for discussion in the agenda for today. Let me open it.
Yeah, I'm sure that I think.
Cool.
Thank you for bringing that back, Daniel.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think we should switch from GitHub wiki to HackMD for the meeting minutes. I think that's a good suggestion, and that's easier to concurrent editing. But Orlin, you wanna follow that up and update the meeting invites? I don't know who have the So you have the permission to update the invite, right? To add a link to the hacker. Okay, cool. Yeah. The other one is about an issue that currently there are too many replication adapters that are not very well maintained. That poses an issue for our customer, that some of them are trying to use some features, but turns out it doesn't work, and they didn't know that it's not maintained. So I think we want to at least introduce a mechanism so that the downstream, if you want to ship hardware to a customer, we can choose to disable some replication adapters to make sure all the adapters that the customers see are maintained, and we can support them. I think first we should introduce that mechanism. Second, I also want to discuss, shall we disable some of the replication adapters by default in Harbor OS or open source? If you want to do that, we can do that too.
I think it should be just a list, right? So I can, I would use the exclude list in reverse, like as an environment variable or as a configuration option that you would like to exclude some cloud providers from getting listed. Otherwise, it will be everything. Because if we by default we will unlist providers, then people will not test them, will not use them in the open source version, and then they will definitely break when someone is enabling, right? Because things that are not usable or not visible are never used, and then it will definitely break. So I think we should, in certain circumstances, for example, like if you're running Harbor on an on-prem environment and you don't have access to GitHub, anywhere, because you cannot reach this network, right? Then you can disable it, right? So I think this is like where it makes most sense. So I would rather kind of add the disable functions.
Okay.
And for the open source, we can ship everything, and maybe for your internal one, you can then disable a few things. And so I think it's then.
Okay.
But it makes sense to have this capability, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's what is suggested in this issue. I think we can go ahead and introduce this environment variable and make sure to hide the adapters we don't want for our customer.
Yeah. I mean, we have also like currently 3 adapters in the pipeline that we would like to introduce to Harbor. And I'm currently thinking about extending the Harbor adapters to be kind of a plugin system, like external plugin system, so that you can just kind of use this dynamically, right? So without introducing them into Harbor as a hard-coded feature, but like only as a binary, right? So you have just a binary that you can package, and it will be then listed as a provider. So we can decouple the whole provider from Harbor itself, right?
That would be a good enhancement, but we need to check the technical details.
Yeah.
Because that regarding some data transfer across processes.
Yeah. So because we have already now 3 adapters that we would like to introduce. One is the S3 adapter. So for backup, so you can back up to S3 the images, right? So replicate to S3 directly without the registry. The other one is replicating to SFTP for backup, and the other one was for Harbor Satellite. And
yeah.
they are all kind of adapters for replication adapters.
Yeah, but I suppose first you need to introduce a design to make such out of tree replication adapters, and yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah.
So the first thing that's come to my mind is the the HashiCorp binary plugin system, where you can just have a binary file with a gRCP.
So Daniel, I think there is a third problem regarding the current replication adapters. There are some adapter we cannot find a continuous maintainer, right? I think we want to call out this and whether we have some more contributor want to maintain this. And otherwise, if we don't have,
Orlin, could you please click the link in this issue? Yeah, this is a list. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for the go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I can reach out to a few AWS people. Maybe they can that are using Harbor right at AWS, if they would like to continue supporting that. So I can reach out to a few people that I know.
So Vadim, for the third column, right? If the active country we are marking as NA, and which I think Ian helped to reach out to this guy, and we didn't get a response. So I think the current role with NA and seems not that good quality right now.
Yeah.
I think we should do some due diligence to make sure and we connect with them, see whether they still want to contribute.
I can reach out to AWS and Google. I know a few people who are using Harbor there and who are also using the replication. So
okay, yeah, cool.
I'll try to reach a few people there.
Yeah, we can discuss this next time.
And out of curiosity, how we think we're going to implement that with simple one variable that disables everything, or going to be a list, or?
I think it should be a list.
Okay, and that will be on build time or on runtime?
That should be on not build time, but instead you before you start Harbor, you need to set the environment. That will be an environment variable for Harbor core pod or process, and you set it probably start Harbor, and some of the adapter will go away.
Yeah,
that's the current idea.
Can we use some of this, for example, open feature, like to be dynamic on runtime, like not to depend on some deep
this could be nice.
Deep buried flags on, I don't know, somewhere on the core. I mean, I'm thinking about usability, right? So people can all of a sudden they may need, for example, GitLab replication or whatever.
I mean, this could be a good. I mean, yeah, this could be definitely.
Not sure how complicated that is to implement. I'm far away
from usage. I mean, I've seen this open feature usage. It's quite simple, right? So you just ask the API, or you just there's an SDK for Golang, and you ask the Golang SDK, is this feature enabled? Yes or no, and then it says yes or no, and then you need to have an open feature backend.
Yeah, but in my opinion, we probably don't need this, because the reason we want to disable replication adapter is because this adapter is not usable. So if we ship a certain version of Harbor and it's disabled because it's not usable, before upgrading to another version of Harbor, the adapter will remain unusable. So probably we don't need to switch that on or off at runtime. We just need a one-time setting before Harbor startup. So probably I can we can look into that, but probably an environment variable is good enough for this use case, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I would
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
recently
but this
also.
one seemed interesting. We can look into that in future because in another discussion with Chen Yu, we also realized that there's not a good feature flag mechanism in Harbor, so that could be something we consider.
And especially in the what Vadim said about the plugins in the future.
Yes,
you can utilize something like that to actually manage dynamic plugin thing, like to turn on and off. I'm interested in the project in general, so I was looking at it, and now we discussing this one was like super match to just bring it up, and maybe that can also be good solution. I don't know, just proposing.
And I think it's nice because it's standardized, right? So you can run a simple flagged service where you just have a flag file, right? Which is a kind of config file where you have all the flags once time, or you can run more complicated where you have the SDK, but it's not connected to a file, but it's connected to a service, and then the service you can trigger things in there, right? So it's like dynamic in the sense how complex you want to have it, right? And it's just enough to have a file to get started. Which makes sense, and we get like the configuration standardized a bit.
Okay, Daniel, are you going to open the proposal for that, or?
I'll discuss. I think Yan may follow up. And do we need a proposal? That will be a relatively straightforward. I think we just add a comment and write a PR for the code. And if you want to, we'll certainly ask you reviewing it before it's merged. You think that's good enough?
Yeah, I'm just interested in general about this stuff, and if we can reduce the number of environment variables that are kind of hacky and they're very deep down, it's gonna be good. I mean, from usability standpoint, it's
totally agreed. But these are switch added, over time. So I think we can review them and somehow keep it in control.
Yeah. All right. Perfect.
I have another issue that I would like to point out, and I also seen it myself. It's if you just click on refresh all in on the.
I just did. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's like,
all right.
Somehow, it's
this one.
An error. Yeah, exactly. And this seems to be. I've seen this as well recently, that the update is not really working, and I think that we didn't kind of consider and address this topic. Maybe we need to take a closer look at that one again. Because this seems to be, I mean, there are multiple people reporting it, and I've seen it also myself. So I'm pretty much sure that this is still kind of a bug that we introduced in 2.11.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we will take a look tomorrow.
Okay.
That's kind of long-standing one. All right.
Yeah. So I've seen it as well a couple of days ago. So and yeah.
Yep.
All right. Do you want to discuss it now, or are we're gonna take that offline?
No, I think it's obvious, right? The explanation is quite clear there. What's the problem? Yeah.
All right.
No issues from my side. More topics.
Okay. Anybody else wants to share something? Want to discuss something? I'm not sure.
I have one. So the pull command is it. I think it's better to have the copy buttons near the digest. So can we keep those, or is there anything we need to change there? Yeah.
So you're talking about the UI, but it's hard to understand without seeing.
Yeah. The UI, the copy pull command we discussed earlier in this meet. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we agree that the one on top of the data grid will be removed and keep everything else as is. I mean, in your demo, keep the icon beside the digest. That's good enough for me, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
All right. All right, 7 minutes back. Thank you very much, everyone. And talk to you in 2 weeks, which is just before Christmas. And I think we're gonna skip the one around Christmas, right?
Yeah. It's gonna
I
be
think, let's see. So the next one is 11th, right? Yes.
Yeah, 25th. Yeah.
25th. It's no go. So we jump to So we jump to 8. All right.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you. Have a good one,
Yeah,
everyone.
have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Bye bye. See you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.